We will have a world government, whether you like it or not. The only question is, whether that government will be achieved by conquest or consent. A one world government and one unit monetary system, under permanent non-elected hereditary oligarchists, who self-select from among their numbers, in the form of a feudal system, as it was in the Middle Ages. In this one world entity, population will be limited by restrictions on the number of children per family, diseases, wars, famines, until 1 billion people who are useful to the ruling class, in areas which will be strictly and clearly defined, remain as the total world population. There will be no middle class, only rulers and the servants. All laws will be uniform under a legal system of world courts practicing the same unified code of laws, backed up by a one world government police force and a one world unified military to enforce laws in all former countries, where no national boundaries shall exist. The system will be on the basis of a welfare state. Those who are obedient and subservient to the one world government will be rewarded with the means to live. Those who are rebellious will simply be starved to death, or be declared outlaws, thus a target for anyone who wishes to kill them. Privately owned firearms or weapons of any kind will be prohibited. We are in control. The corporate portion of the NWO is dominated by international bankers, oil barons and pharmaceutical cartels, as well as other major multinational corporations. We have all areas covered. The royal family of England, namely Queen Elizabeth II and the House of Windsor, who are, in fact, descendants of the German arm of European royalty, the Saxe-Coburg-Gotha family. Changed name to Windsor in 1914. Are high-level players in the New World Order, the oligarchy which controls the upper strata of the NWO. The decision-making nerve centers of this effort are in London, especially the City of London, Basel, Switzerland, and Brussels, NATO headquarters. We control the leaders of all major industrial countries like the United States, England, Germany, Italy, Australia, New Zealand, etc. Members of the G7/G8 are active and fully cooperative participants. For us. In this century, the degree of control exerted by us, the NWO, has advanced to the point that only certain handpicked individuals, who are groomed and selected, are even eligible to become the Prime Minister or President of countries like England, Germany, or the United States. It didn't matter whether Bill Clinton or Bob Dole won the presidency in 1996, the results would have been the same, because we control it all. Both men are playing on the same team for the same ball club. Anyone who isn't a team player is taken out. That is President Kennedy, Ali Bhutto, Pakistan, and Aldo Moro, Italy. More recently, Admiral Border and William Colby were also killed, because they were either unwilling to go along with our New World Order pounds, the conspiracy to destroy America, weren't cooperating in some capacity, or were attempting to thwart our takeover agenda. Most of the major wars, political upheavals, and economic depression/recessions of the past 100 years, earlier, were carefully planned by us, and instigated by the machinations of our relay team. They include the Spanish-American War, 1898, World War I and World War II, the Great Depression, the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, the rise of Nazi Germany, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the 1989-91 fall of Soviet communism, the 1991 Gulf War, the war in Kosovo, and the two Iraq wars. Even the French Revolution was orchestrated into existence by element of the NWO. We control all world central banks. Our plans are to crash all world currency, to introduce a new one world currency, that will be controlled by our one world bank. We thank the Rockefeller family for donating the land for us to build the United Nations, an organization orchestrated by us to gather all counters in one place for us to control. We are above the common human. We are the elite, and must control the world population by any means. If anyone tries to stop us, we will cause a terror attack, and we know the sheep will be on our side. The sheep will fight for us against the open-minded ones who will be put in camps. We own all the major news networks, and soon we will control the internet. We know who is out to stop us, and will destroy them. We create money in any amounts we wish. Our money is endless. We control the world stock markets and food supply. The New World Order will be socialism. Read the United Nations declarations and treaties for proof of this fact. The individual will be subservient to the state. Rights and power reside in, and derive from the state, not the individual. United Nations documents all speak of collectivism. They claim that private ownership and management of property is not to the benefit of the human race. These things are cloaked in a pleasant language, and most people are taken in and deceived. Yet few bother to study these documents. In the New World Order you will be in serfdom to the controlling elite. You will have no liberty, and no rights. The state will look after you for your best interests. Do you see how the governments of the free world are slowly becoming more involved in everyday life? This is exactly what socialism is. The government becomes involved in every aspect of personal life. Today we require a license for so many things. In Australia, farmers now require permission to farm the land they own. Terms such as sustainable development mean depopulation and serfdom. The masses continue to fall for lie after lie after lie. Study history and you will discover that there have been very few free societies. Those that were free were either overthrown, or fell into the trap of socialism, totally unaware of the dangers, until it was too late. Socialism, communism, is always implemented through deception. History portrays a repetitive phenomenon: enslavement, revolt, freedom, apathy, enslavement. Enslavement frequently followed revolution, because the people did not realize that socialism was slavery, not freedom. Today environment is being used to make people feel guilty, entice them to accept socialism as necessary. The environmental movement has been co-opted to strip private ownership of control and exploitation of resources. Many environmental facts are lies, exaggerations and unscientific claims to manipulate the masses in the classic Hegelian dialectic. Create the problem, create opposition to the problem, then present your own predetermined solution. Global warming is a perfect example. Anyone who speaks against the incoming system will be labeled anti-government or a troublemaker, and either executed or imprisoned with majority assent. Citizens will support the new order, because they will have been brainwashed by propaganda, and will not understand what is really happening. Already in the United States, those who support the Constitution, patriots and the militia groups are ridiculed as crazy paranoids and dangerous extremists. In Australia, it's the supporters of Pauline Hanson's One Nation and Graham Campbell's Australia First parties who are ridiculed and persecuted. These are merely people who are aware of what is going on. If you are one of those who believe that these patriots who are against globalism are crazy and deluded, I ask, have you ever spoken to one? Have you checked validity of their claims, or are you blindly following what the media feeds you? Currently the United Nations is trying to establish the framework for an international criminal court. When this is established, the United Nations will be able to detain anyone from any nation, and bring them before a panel of judges, who will hear the case and pass judgment. This international court will deal with our crimes against humanity and environmental crimes. If you think there is nothing wrong with this, I suggest you read how the UN defines environmental crime. A system is being created whereby those in control will be empowered to manufacture a crime and arrest anyone they deem a threat. The courts have no jury, one is guilty until proven innocent, and there is no appeal. Also, because this court is international, and your nation has surrendered its authority, your own country cannot protect you. We have organizations worldwide, one of them is the Bilderberg Group. What's said at a Bilderberg conference stays at a Bilderberg conference. Several high-profile journalists have been invited over the years, with the understanding not to report on the proceedings. Break the rule and you're not invited back. Skeptics argue that members can spend their private time hatching plans to control world politics and economics, ensuring the wealthy and powerful maintain their powerful grip on an enslaved population that keeps the machinery running. Some have argued that Bilderbergers have withheld cancer cures so as not to anger the global pharmaceutical industry. It is worth noting that the Rockefeller Empire, in tandem with Chase Manhattan Bank, now JP Morgan Chase, owns over half of the pharmaceutical interests in the United States. It is the largest drug manufacturing combine in the world. See also Rockefeller Foundation. They've also kept technology out of the public domain that would allow cars to travel 75 kilometers on a liter of gas in the interest of big oil. James Tucker, an American libertarian and journalist, has been a critic of the Bilderberg Group for decades. A few days before the 2006 meeting, he wrote, "When meeting last year in Rottach, Germany, Bilderberg called for dramatic increases in the price of oil. Oil prices started climbing immediately from $40 a barrel to $70.